All right, Chelsea, let's bring him in here.
Are you nervous?
Oh God. Pooky, where are you?
Guys, I am so excited about today's video. My hands are literally shaking. Not because of the delirium tremors, but because I get to talk about the Hawk Tuah girl. Now, she's back in the news again. No, not because she made Hawk Tuah 2, the beloved sequel to Hawk Tuah. And it's not because if you go onto her Twitter account right now, she's basically just engagement baiting with crypto bros in an attempt to interact with Elon Musk himself.
Hi, Mr. Elon. Can I lead the main team?
Because she is now announcing that she's making the steps to become a worldwide sensation. Now, as we know, the Hawk Tuah meme, it did the rounds, all right? We saw the cameraman film the girl. The cameraman got no clout, unlucky. And then she signed up with Jake Paul to get her own podcast, which people on IMDb, if you didn't know, the International Movie Database, 97% of the user base are 20-year-old white men. So basically what they started to do after realizing that her podcast was put onto IMDb, they started semi-sarcastically upvoting it. At one point, it was actually higher rated than Ozymandias in Breaking Bad. Now, it's dropped a couple of places since then. The only reason I can genuinely think of why is because the Attack on Titan fanboys found out about it and they started downvoting it. Now, she's called Hawk Tuah and her podcast is called Talk Tuah. Get it? Get it? Do you get it? Now, the problem is when you have a podcast named Talk Tuah, that sounds like, you know, in any conversation, any kind of media, I want to talk to them. Now, the problem is because they've named the podcast Talk Tuah, that sounds very close to talk to him, you know, a very commonly said phrase. So unfortunately, retroactively, this has gave everyone mind poison. A good example is any scene in the HBO show The Penguin where someone says, I want to talk to her.
Just let me talk to her.
Now, if you haven't watched the hit show The Penguin, it mostly follows a fat, balding man walking around the streets of New York, which surprisingly isn't The Sopranos. But the Talk to a meme has also infected one of my favorite shows that I definitely don't talk about enough, Breaking Bad. There's this scene where Walter could possibly be game ended. He could, you know, get a character respawn. He is basically pleading for his life. And now the the entire scene has been dumbed down into a Talk to a bit.
Just let me, please let me talk to her. Shut up. Shut up. Please let me talk to her. Shut up.
Now, the Hawk Tuah's name is Haley Welch, but you don't know her as that. You know her as the Hawk Tuah girl. And one thing you'll notice, when she doesn't have the brand guidance of Jake Paul, some of the tweets she makes, it's worse than the millennial pause. If you don't know what the millennial pause is, it's a thing that boomers do when they film themselves from the selfie angle in a video, and they take that bizarre 5-second pause before then beginning to film the video. Now, the reason why I'm comparing her to a millennial is because some of the posts she's making are absolutely horrendous. Like, for example, asking people on Twitter what NF Tuah she should buy.
What NF Tuah should I get next? I want to go shopping after the fight.
Get it? Get it? Because NFT and Hawked, get it? That's so funny. That's like Parasitical showing his commissions the 20th time on stream. It gets funnier every time, guys, I promise. Now, one thing Mrs. Tuah likes to talk about is her boyfriend, who she calls Pooky, which I assume has no association with Pooky, the plush in the Garfield franchise, the Garfield cinematic universe. And finally, to celebrate the 10th episode of the Talk Tuah podcast, which I'm sure you've watched, right? I mean, come on. There's only been 10 episodes. You've seen all of them, right? And to celebrate all 7 people that are still listening to the Talk Tuah podcast, which is basically just the equivalent of Joe Rogan, but for women, we've been given a reveal of Pooky.
Who is Pooky?
Finally, our prayers have been answered. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. I am so done. Oh my God. I've been missing so many things in my life, but the fact I now know the Talk Tuah girl's boyfriend, her Pooky. Oh God. Oh, thank you, Lord Jesus. Oh my Lord. It turns out that Pooky is none other than famous country singer Zach Bryan. Who is that? Who the hell is that? Who? This guy's only a year older than me. I literally had a chance. I had a chance with the Talk to a Girl, and I got cocked by Zach Bryan with his little guitar. That sucks. Now, a lot of the law scholars, because for some reason with the Hawk Tuah Girl, there are actual law scholars. There are Reddit detectives trying to find out what she's doing. She actually went to a concert that Zach was attending. Attending as in it was his show. She was brought on stage all the way back in June. However, at the time, Zach was going through a nasty breakup with someone called Brianna Chicken Fry from Barstool Sports. If you don't know what Barstool Sports is, if you make a funny video and it goes viral, they've stole it. They've stole it and they probably gave you no credit. They're the equivalent of like 9gag. And apparently another character, Dave Portnoy, who basically owns Barstool Sports, is leaving a podcast. That podcast being called BFFs. And he's leaving because he's basically salty over this whole like relationship going on. That is because he hosts a podcast with this Brianna Chicken Fry. That cannot be her real name. There's no way on God that Chicken Fry is your surname. Like, I'm sorry. You might as well just be called Gravy or something. Like I would rather call my child KFC Gravy than Chicken Fry. Even in a weird turn of events, Haley, Talk to a Girl. Sorry, my mistake. I will never refer to her real name ever again. She is basically rooting for Brianna, the woman that was dating this guy, probably because Brianna was actually on an episode of Talk to Her. But you knew that. Of course you knew that. You know all the lore of Talk to Her. Come on. Surely you've watched all 10 episodes so far, back to back. I would also love to point out the amazing and heartwarming comments that have spawned in from episode 10 of the Talk to Her podcast. I was sick with an incurable disease, but then I turned on Talk to Her. I was healed almost instantly. Thank you, Haley Welch. Haley is so generous, offering us what is essentially free money by promoting a betting site. Thank you, Haley. I skipped my liver transplant surgery to watch Talk to Her. So worth it. Maturing is realizing that the Talk to Her podcast actually covers deep topics society isn't ready to talk about yet. Someone please help me. I've been here for 3 days straight. I can't stop watching Talk to Her. Someone send help. Skipped my trial for hearing this. The account name is P. Diddy. If Talk to Her has 1 million fans, then I am one of them. If Talk to Her has 10 fans, then I am one of them. If Talk to Her has only 1 fan, then it is me. If Talk to Her has no fans, then that means I died. It's the Prince Charming profile picture as well. It's so good. I was dying of an extreme illness, but instead of going to surgery, I skipped to watch Talk to Her. Best decision of my life. I was climbing a mountain, and when I got a notification about the new Talk to Her episode, I fell 200 feet in excitement. I broke a bunch of bones, but when I started watching, they all came back together. Thank you. Now, how is the Talk to a Girl and Zach Bryan getting along? They were never dating. I lied. Could you believe that? Spreading misinformation across the internet. Could you believe it? No, I made it all up. It didn't happen. It was basically a conspiracy theory that people thought was true. Instead, he's actually dating Chelsea, the other host's second cousin, Kelby, who is a plumber.
Well, Chelsea, how are you feeling? Are you a little nervous, excited because your cousin's about to be revealed to the world?
I think I'm excited for y'all.
So the episode begins with some very wholesome content of these two lovebirds talking about how they met, and also getting jealous about people sliding into the Talk to a Girl's DMs. I do like the entire time Jake Paul's just sat there basically half comatose. I mean, to be fair, give him some credit. He probably just finished a training session. You can see the sweat dropping down his face. But the entire time, he's just kind of there like...
And this, version of Mike Tyson's going to be exponentially more difficult than Mike Perry.
And of course, people went absolutely insane about the Pooky reveal, actually going as far as to comparing him to the streamer Connor Eats Pants. So I do want to say, I for one am very proud of the Talk to a Girl to be brave enough to publicly announce her Pooky. It really takes some real... I was going to say balls, but she's a woman. It takes some real breasts to do that. But not only did we get one Pooky reveal, we got 2 in the form of the Pooky app. Because of course, how could you reliably show off your partner without trying to exploit it in the form of some kind of monetary gain? So in the episode, she shows off that she has an app called Pooky Tools. And yes, if you're wondering, it is indeed a dating app helping you, a lost individual, find your forever Pooky. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not sure how much this appeals appeals to you guys because the average parasitical viewer, you're probably just using Discord to e-date on. But the weird thing is about Pooky Tools is it's basically an AI-based app. It is using AI to help you find your ideal partner. And this was actually created by the marketing company Vego Pictures. And they basically focused on making content for millennials and Gen Zs. So, yep, is this going to go over well? No, probably not. And this offers all kinds of things, like, for example, fixing your dating profile. That picture you took of yourself, you look terrible, bro. Let's put on a filter so it looks like you've been mewing for 6 months. There's also date ideas, zodiac compatibility for... God. I just want to be honest, please, God. If you're one of those people that watches this channel and you will genuinely write off people because of zodiac compatibility, there are other things you can do, you know, in your life. You could even do Overwatch 2. I wouldn't suggest that to the average person, but you're pretty down bad, all right? You can even use the Pooky app to apparently predict whether someone is going to go bald later on in life. As you can see, there is no chance of me going bald. My head... Oh, okay. Anyways, it's all right. It's all right. I can go to Turkey. I can do the hairline, airline. There's a chance. Oh God, is it really that bad? You can actually even use the app to predict someone's height. I do like people that use dating apps that treat height and weight like they're both interchangeable. Like you can't lose the weight, but you can actually grow 3 inches taller. This is not a manlet cope, by the way. I mean, thankfully, this now means with the Pooky app, you will no longer have to use IKEA furniture to predict someone's height. I do want to say, by the way, on a real note, I deeply hate you all because when I was recently doing a meet and greet in Berlin about 3 days ago, 3/4 of the people said, wow, you're really tall in person. I'm not tall, but they genuinely thought I was going to be like some kind of dwarf or something because everyone thinks for some reason that I'm 4'1". Like when in any video have I gave off the impression that I'm Peter Dinklage? Please tell me. Now, when you get onto the app, of course, you're hit with a paywall. Of course you are. You want to use something for free? For free? You're joking, right? Unless you want to watch like 20 ads in a row. No, it actually starts off at $7. I'm not going to do the 99 cents garbage. It's $7. That is $7 a week or $50 a year, which, if anything, sounds quite similar to Mark Ass Brown Lee for that 4K wallpaper thing he was shilling quite a while ago. But don't worry, the Pooky app has generosity because you get access to a trial of 3 days. If you can't find your Pooky in 3 days, unlucky. You better start paying $7 a week. I do like how the trial is only 3 days, by the way. Most apps in the world, the trial is at least a month or maybe even a week. But 3 days, they're purposely making it as small as possible, that you're doing the equivalent of speed dating to try and get some kind of hookup. Now, let's say you really love the Pooky app, or you started paying for it and you forgot about it. You will end up paying $28 a month, which is just insanely expensive. Now, if you went for the year-long version, the contract, you're basically saving about 2 months worth of money. But again, is it really worth it to be basically having like an AI chatbot? Now, the options on the app are incredibly limited. You've got a height detector, bold prediction. They really missed out on there, by the way, by not just calling it like the cope scale. And then this AI app is most likely going to steal your information and give you a very inaccurate result. You can even upload a screenshot of your dating profile or ask the AI dating coach directly about things on your quest to help get you a Pooky. However, for some reason, when I tried to ask it where Pooky is, it wouldn't actually help me find Pooky. You can also input you and your Pooky's birthday to see if you're compatible with each other via zodiac signs. Or maybe you're already talking to your Pooky, but you have no idea what to wear for a date. But don't worry, you can simply use this AI and it will generate a random outfit that it probably stole from Google. Or maybe you have no idea where to actually go on a date with your potential Pooky. You can actually input a random specific date and it will actually generate somewhere that you could possibly go to. I guess if you're using this app and you're paying for it, you have no idea what Google Maps is. And last but not least, you can take a private conversation between you and your Pooky, screenshot it, and show it to the app and let the AI figure out whether your Pooky is flirting with you. A good example of this is me asking one of my good friends, Dolan Dark, that I was going to steal a video title from him about Mr. Beast, and he replied telling me to kill myself. Is he flirting? I don't know. I need to use the Pooky app to find out. Someone who definitely needs the Pooky app by the look of it is Hassan Piker, because there was recently a stream where a woman was god-tier rizzing him and it just went completely over his head.
Do you have a nose job?
No.
Your face.
Oh, thank you.
It's just well proportioned.
I think?
No, that's a really nice thing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm like, give it to me. Give me the nose. I wish Larry was here. You think you have...
wrong with your nose.
There's nothing wrong with my nose.
Yeah.
What? But again, I do have to stress, even though the Pooky app sounds absolutely perfect, it is all generated and ran by AI. So the results might not be 100% accurate. Long story short, it really is just a bot telling you a couple of silly things that may or may not improve your dating life. That's pretty much it. There's not even any like Hawk Tuah memes on there. Like, what's the point? So you're basically paying $7 a week for a rip-off chat GPT. And this will basically just generate random nonsense to get yourself a partner. I mean, this could be, you know, the product for people that are not the best at starting relationships, aka the entirety of the pyrocynical fan base. It gives you information that is so easy to Google, like, you know, locations, stuff to wear. An app isn't going to tell you that stuff. You do that, unfortunately, by just researching yourself. I mean, a good example is me. If you wear anything that I'm not currently wearing, you're basically going to be dripped out. I have one of the worst dress sense imaginable. At home, I'm basically always wearing my merch. I'm always wearing shorts because there is no point wearing trousers inside the house. And on top of that as well, I recently gave a presentation in Berlin, in Germany, and the drip I had, people are calling it one of the worst drips they've seen of all time. If anything, I really feel this is a bit of a cash grab from the Hawk Tuah girl. I believe, honestly, that she's a very kind-hearted individual and she would never take advantage of people. But again, we've seen so many people like Jake Paul make betting apps, and I guess the next thing that these influencers are going to jump onto now are dating apps. I mean, in the video, I've already talked about Mark S. Brownlee with his 4K panels app, which is basically just like glorified wallpapers that you have to pay an exuberant price for. But this is basically highway robbery because it's AI and it has a track record of all your information. And also having an AI focused app just seems so lazy in general. I feel like AI could have some insane uses, especially in like the medical field. But unfortunately, whenever there's a new big thing around that could really change how people live, you have all the scalpers, all the grifters that are trying to use it to basically make a quick buck. I mean, Google now, usually if you search something up in the Google search bar, like, you know, for example, my nan's heart stopped, how do I perform CPR? The result will be some random AI generated garbage like my name leg, my name frilled, my name frills. Like, who should pay $7 for this, let alone $28 a month? Now, one offer I did want to make to people. I do realize that recently I've got a lot of criticism for the slop content being just vapid and boring. And honestly, I'm going to address this in tomorrow's video more properly. But I do want to start making some higher quality stuff, maybe uploading on the slop channel a little bit less. I will make you guys an offer. If this video gets 50,000 likes, which it won't, but if it gets 50,000 likes, I will do a dedicated video on PyroLive setting up and paying for the Pooky app, measuring my height, so you can all laugh at me, make height jokes, and I will basically set myself up a dating profile on the Pooky app and just do like a deep dive into it. I'm really excited to do that. If we hit the like goal of 50K, I will definitely do that.